The Dallas Cowboys are now 6-7 after their latest loss to the Chicago Bears. After a quick 3-0 pace that saw Super Bowl aspirations from the get-go, they have now lost 4 of their last 5 games and are lucky enough just to be in playoff contention. Given the Eagles' struggles in the NFC East, even though they did result in a win against the Giants, the Cowboys are still favored to win this division, a division which may be the worst it's seen in a decade. The Cowboys have yet to beat a team with a record of 500 or better. Against those teams, they have trailed by 31-3 against the Packers, 21-3 against the Jets, 14-0 against the Vikings, 23-7 against the Bills, and they gave up 24 unanswered points to Mitch Trubisky and the Chicago Bears. The Cowboys this year have been favored to win each game this season except against the Patriots, which they eventually lost. Clearly, there's a discrepancy here in the locker room that is not devoid of talent. You have a surging Dak Prescott who leads the league in passing yards this season and is top 5 in QBR. They paid Ezekiel Elliott the highest amount of money for any running back guaranteed in history, and although it seems like he has fallen off a cliff this year, he's still 5th in overall rushing behind a Dalvin Cook for the Minnesota Vikings, which many consider to be an MVP candidate. Amari Cooper is still a top 20 wide receiver in this league, in my opinion. They're 9th in total defense. They allow the 10th fewest turnovers. This team has talent. It is apparent that this team is not properly motivated, and that starts at the top with Coach Jason Garrett. Between he and Kellen Moore, the play calling has been dreadful and questionable at best. And I don't see why at this point in the season that you don't roll the dice, take a chance to see what would happen if you were to fire Jason Garrett and maybe give the likes of which to Rod Marinelli or maybe even a Chris Richard. Looks like the Cowboys are going to win this division regardless of how the rest of the season plays out due to the Philadelphia Eagles struggles as well. And even if the team does continue to struggle after the Jason Garrett firing, at least it kind of clears the air to know that it's not just the coaching staff that has problems on this Cowboys team, and maybe there are more deficiencies in this roster than previously thought. Moving on to the AFC, the Kansas City Chiefs defeating the New England Patriots in a must-have game, a statement win over the reigning Super Bowl champions in Foxborough. A game which Patrick Mahomes apparently hurt his right throwing hand, still put up a respectable 280 yards and a touchdown, while Mahomes not putting up the transcendent stats he did, the likes of which he had in his MVP campaign last year. Injuries and all, he is still top 10 in yards, touchdowns, and passer rating this season for all quarterbacks. Everyone likes to highlight the new upcoming trendy thing to latch on to and to follow. This year it's the Baltimore Ravens with the likely MVP Lamar Jackson and their new running style. And everybody can't stop talking about this Baltimore team, but little do we forget, this Kansas City team is very dangerous. They have elite talent on the offensive end, Patrick Mahomes at the forefront of that, as well as Tyreek Hill, a legit deep threat who can outrun literally anybody. Travis Kelce is probably the best tight end in the game. Even though Baltimore has been on a surge, Kansas City quietly on a little 3-game winning streak to bring them to 9-4, catching up to New England for one of those top 2 seeds. And with New England struggling in the last couple games, this is a perfect opportunity for Kansas City to reclaim that spot in the top of the AFC along with Baltimore. Something to note with Kansas City, this team has been criticized all year about their defense, especially on the run defense. They currently give up the 5th most rushing yards in the NFL at 137 yards a game. However, in the last 3 games, they've only given up more than 100 yards once, which was against the Raiders, and the score didn't even matter on that one, as they won by 32. And in those last 3 games, they've only given up 16, 9, and 17 points to the Patriots, Raiders, and Chargers, respectively. This is a team known for outscoring opponents because of their elite offensive prowess. However, even if in a game with Patrick Mahomes not being an elite talent or having an elite game or a transcendent game, the Chiefs are still finding ways to win games now that their defense is starting to peak. And although it still has some obvious cracks in it, especially on the run defensive side of the ball, they just have to be competent enough to allow Patrick Mahomes and this elite offense to give them a chance to win games. They don't have to be spectacular, they just have to be not awful. And this is a defense that is peaking at the right time, just in time for the playoffs. On the flip side of that ball, the New England Patriots continue to struggle scoring points as they only score 17 against that Kansas City defense. Over the last 5 games, they've only averaged as much, 17 points, and they have been 2-3 over that stretch. And a lot of that has to do with Tom Brady, as good as he has been in his whole career, arguably the greatest of all time, and no doubt the greatest of this generation. But it pains me to say this, but Tom Brady this season has been, at best, a below-average quarterback in the NFL this season. And the stats prove it. I mean, he's 30th in completion percentage, which is behind Gardner Minshew, who has been previously benched for Nick Foles, who was previously benched for Gardner Minshew, and Mason Rudolph, who probably has a 17th concussion at this point. He's 22nd in passer rating behind Mitch Trubisky, although Trubisky has been better as of late. Regardless, still not the greatest person to be behind. And 20th in QBR behind rookie Daniel Jones for the New York Giants. Now, let's be clear here. Tom Brady at age 42 is doing way better than any quarterback should be doing at his age. Let's not forget when Peyton Manning won that Super Bowl he did with the Denver Broncos. That was a defensive-led team that he happened to be the quarterback of, and it got him a Super Bowl. The year after that, he completely fell off a cliff, and that was his career. That was it. Tom Brady last season won a Super Bowl because of his defense, and obviously his offense is starting to hinder a little bit, and this is his cliff. Now, the argument can be made that this is the least amount of talent he has had around him in his career in New England, and rightfully so. However, it has not stopped him in the past, and remember, Tom Brady won an MVP 2 years ago at age 40. The guy defies Father Time, and everyone thinks the Patriots can make a run in the playoffs regardless of how much talent or lack thereof they have on that side of the ball. However, with the Patriots' offensive struggles, it actually starts with their running game. They were only 23rd in rushing this season, and last year they were 5th in rushing, led by Sony Michel, the rookie, who has not been very apparent at all this season. Also keep in mind this year, the 3 losses that the New England Patriots have endured this season have been against the Texans, Chiefs, and the Ravens, all whom they will have to face, at least one of them, in the AFC playoff picture regardless of seeding. Now, Bill Belichick is a master of attacking the weaknesses of any team, especially if you have to see them a second time around. But they have such offensive limitations that even with the best scheming and their elite secondary, I don't think they can overcome that in the playoffs when they arrive. Thank you for watching, guys. You can like and subscribe here if you want more videos like this. You can follow me at Twitter at Rikky for more updates. Thanks.